We made it to September, baby is due in 3 weeks, and I knew I wanted to do one last big stock up before baby came to hopefully last us through till the end of the year.
Ready?
So we had to divide and conquer a bit this morning. I had to run some errands and go to Costco, while Jim and the kids had some of their own errands to run and went to the Azure Standard pickup, and then we met there as soon as I was finished.
Alright, cheese case.
I'm over here.
Pack it up, pack it in.
Our goal here is to grow roughly 75% of the food that feeds our family year-round on our homestead, which means that 25% needs to come from somewhere else. And so before we grew a lot of our own food and we had younger kids, I'd always go to a few different grocery stores, track sales, and do things like that to make it as economical as possible. But since we moved onto our homestead, started growing a lot of our own food, and we're just kind of looking to fill in the gaps, our strategy has shifted significantly. So now really the only two places that we rely on besides what we grow here and what we're able to find locally is Azure Standard and Costco. Buying in bulk, sticking to primarily ingredient-only shopping, and making sure to thoroughly use what we have here before going back to the store to stock up has made a huge difference in not just saving money while buying really high quality ingredients, but also just being good stewards of the things that we have here, and especially those things that we've grown. But when you're only going to the store every few months, it's important to have your storage systems dialed in so that food is staying as fresh and nutritious for as long as possible.
One more. That looks like salmon. Thanks, buddy. All right.
On our homestead here, we grow or buy locally most of the fruits and veggies that feed our family for the whole year. Then we have an egg-laying flock of chickens for eggs, we have Thimble, our family milk cow, for all of our dairy needs, and we have freezers filled with beef and chicken that we've raised here on our farm. So first, let's dive into what we stocked up on today, and then I'll show you more of our storage systems and how we make this all happen.
I want 5
scoops.
I'll take 25.
25 scoops.
I'll take 100 million.
Alright.
And I ate a bite. It's so good.
It's been cooking all morning. Alright, so starting with what we got from Azure Standard. The first couple things are spices. Azure's my go-to place for buying spices in bulk. I'm really simple when it comes to spices. We don't go crazy. I tend to use the same handful of 5 to 10 things kind of in everything, but that just allows you to have lots of different flavors and do lots of different things with keeping it pretty simple. So I got a chili powder and a curry powder this time. We were pretty well stocked on everything else that we needed. I also got baking powder. I like to go to Azure for a lot of just our simple, high quality baking needs. I also got cacao powder from Azure this time. I have gotten their carob powder in the past, which we like, but I don't know what it is about pregnancy and craving cocoa or cacao, but I just wanted like the real thing. I wanted cocoa powder or cacao powder. I didn't want something about the taste of the carob powder is a little bit different, and so I was just craving this. This was a little bit more of a splurge at Azure. It's going to be higher quality. This is organic. I was cost comparing it to Costco when I was there, and it definitely is less expensive there. So this felt like a splurge, but we're heading into baking season and Christmas, and so I wanted to be stocked up. All right, and then collagen peptides is the other thing that I got at Azure. I just knew heading into postpartum, I want to keep my protein up. This is an easy way to get it into a smoothie or things that I'm already drinking or get it in. So we got collagen peptides from Azure, and their price is really good there too. Okay, and then I did get side. Need to get these in the freezer. They're starting to thaw, but these are tortillas that I got from Azure. So this was also a splurge thing. I don't normally get tortillas, but kind of heading into the postpartum season, a lot of what I got in this stock up was thinking about that and thinking about the fact that while it was my goal to be making meals for the freezer every week for the last few weeks, and I have stocked up on some things, some postpartum meals, I haven't been able to do as much as I would have liked. And I know heading into these next 3 weeks with big harvest season here on our homestead, it's probably not going to happen. So I wanted to include some things in our Azure pickup and our Costco pickup that were going to just be really helpful for easy meals for that postpartum pickup, which is why I got these pre-made, ready to go organic tortillas. Okay, frozen broccoli. So this is one of the things we love. Azure's frozen broccoli. It's like the little sizes as opposed to most frozen broccoli you get at Costco or other places that are like the really big stocks. So we really like Azure's frozen broccoli. This is like the one produce item that we don't buy locally. We've grown it here before, but never in vast amounts. And so it's one of the things that we pick up from the store. And then I got a case of mozzarella cheese. Now this sounds crazy because we have a cow and we make our own cheese, but to be honest, you guys, the last couple months, we've been so full that we just have not been making cheese weekly or consistently like we always have before, and we just haven't been able to get to it. And her milk has been being used for other things, and so we love cheese. Our kids, I did try this cheese at some point in the past, and the kids absolutely love it. So I just, we just stocked up on it because I knew that it would get used, and it would kind of just be one of those things to take something off of our plate if we weren't able to get to making cheese with her milk, and just say, you know what, that's okay, this is good quality, we're gonna enjoy that and not worry about it. Okay, grains. So Azure is my go-to place for buying grains in bulk, and they are by far the best prices of anywhere that I have seen. And this would probably be the one thing that I would say if you are like getting started buying things in bulk, to start with grains. So we bought rolled oats this time. I got the gluten-free kind just to have that as an option in case we're cooking or baking for someone with a gluten sensitivity. And then the other three bags here are all of our wheat berries that we grind and turn into flour. And I would say, like, bang for your buck, this is just such a great thing to do, especially if you're just getting started and trying to figure out this world of maybe storing food or going longer between going to the grocery store or wanting to cook more nutritious food for your family. Buying wheat berries and then grinding them into flour is such an awesome way to do that. I think a 50-pound bag of these berries was like, I don't remember, maybe like 30 to 40 bucks for organic wheat berries, which is going to grind into so much flour. A 50-pound bag of this will last our family for at least a full year. I like to get so I got 3 different kinds. I got the soft white wheat berries, and that's what we use for baking. And then I got the hard white wheat berries, which I use in a 50-50 combo with the hard, what is it called? Sorry. So I got the hard white wheat berries and then the hard red wheat berries. And so I like to use those in a 50-50 combo with our sourdough. I do, half and half for making bread dough, pizza crust, things like that. And then the white wheat, the soft white wheat, is great for baking. So stacking up on those, that's gonna last us for like at least a full year of being able to grind our own grains, mill it into flour, and being able to have all of our baking needs covered. Okay, and then the last 2 boxes, I believe, from our Azure order are salmon. And again, this is a little bit more of a splurge thing, but we had ordered these in the past, and I knew that heading into post-baby season, I wanted to have just some of those easy meals for quick, really nutrient-dense proteins. And so their salmon was really good. We were really impressed with the quality the first time. So I got 10 pounds of just the salmon fillets, wild caught, and then 10 pounds of the salmon burger meat, which is portioned into like 1 pound servings, and that's been awesome. I've loved that for making burgers or adding to casseroles or soups or things like that. That's been really, really nice to have, and the price point on that is really good. So the salmon is the other thing we got from Azure. Okay, and then heading to Costco. All right, so from Costco, some of our staples that we got there are the organic white rice. I think they have the best price that I've seen on that, so that's just the place where we stock up on white rice, and we go through that, as well as coffee. If anyone else has a great bulk place that they like to buy whole bean coffee that's good quality, definitely send it our way. There's not really a great option at Azure, so Costco's been my go-to place for coffee, but yeah, if you have a good suggestion, I'd love to hear that. And then some of our other staples from Costco, organic lemon juice for adding to water, making lemon juice water, organic peanut butter, which they did change the packaging. So if you are at Costco and looking, they did change the packaging. It's the white top and it looks like this now, but it's the same ingredients. It's only the roasted peanuts with salt. It's not anything else. And then I got almond butter as well because we like both of those. Our kids were begging me when I was going out the door to get prunes. They have this thing for dried fruit, and especially they love prunes, and so I got them a bag of dried plums or prunes at Costco. I did get a thing of pre-made mayo. I like to make my own mayo too, but sometimes it's just one of those things that's nice to have pre-made, and especially because we don't use it a ton, just having the ready-to-go stuff, I can use it as we need it over the next few months and it will last and it will be fine. So we got the pre-made mayo this time around, and then really everything else. So I stocked up on a lot of kind of basic, simple meats, just to have quick meals if we need them. So things like bacon or uncured ham, hot dogs, chicken, sausage, salami, just some of these things that I can add to a sandwich or add, you know, just to have these quick meals. Again, this is not our everyday, but especially in that postpartum period, it's really nice to have some options for just quick, ready-to-go stuff. So I wanted to make sure we had plenty of options for stuff like that on hand, and so Costco is a decent place to stock up on things like that. And most of this stuff, a lot of these meats and cheese, we'll freeze this and then just pull out what we need as needed over the next few months. A couple other things I didn't mention, it's not over here, but I did get a big bag of baking soda from Costco. We use this in cleaning, especially in laundry, and then dog food we also stocked up on at Costco. So that's our place for that. So let's go now and figure out how we're gonna store all this. There are a lot of homesteaders out there with beautiful pantry storage areas, and ours isn't one of them. But it's practical, it's functional, it gets the job done. When we were looking for a homestead back in 2020, we found this foreclosed 1950s ranch. And while we knew it was gonna need a lot of work, when we actually came and saw it, there was a lot that surprised us and really excited us about this house. And one of the big things was this closet, which is right in the basement next to the stairs, built-in shelves, perfect for food storage. And so most of our house has gotten renovated, almost the entire upstairs, but the basement, not so much. But it's still a great place for storing a lot of food to feed our family through the winter. A big barrier of wanting to buy in bulk something like a 50-pound bag of wheat berries that then you could turn into fresh milled flour whenever you need it is having the space to do so. But you really don't need that much. A simple closet with some storage shelves will do the trick. In this pantry closet storage area, we store the bulk of our canned and dried food. Large bags of grains like the 50-pound bag of wheat berries and oats that we got from our Azure Standard order, as well as things like dried beans, dent corn, rice, even sucanat that we use in place of white sugar and brown sugar, are all things that we store in 5-gallon buckets. We don't have them for all of our 5-gallon buckets yet, but we're slowly transitioning to having all gamma lids on our 5-gallon buckets. So those are the screw top lids that make it really easy to get these lids on and off instead of the pry lids, which can be a lot more difficult. So we got this 3-pack of Gamma lids from Azure Standard, but you can also find them from most hardware stores. This makes it really easy to pop down to the basement, unscrew the lid, get the food that I need. They don't take up a ton of space, and they're completely critter-proof. This pantry is also where we keep the mason jars, both those that we have already canned and those that we have yet to can. So at this point, I've canned about half of our tomatoes, turning them into tomato sauce. I know I'm going to need to do grape juice here in the next couple weeks. We'll see if I get to doing apples and making applesauce before this baby comes. But this storage shelf is already getting pretty full, and this is something that we just picked up that was handed down to us, and it's worked really, really well. Then there's also plenty of room for storing all of our empty jars. I'd love to get to some more canning over the winter. I love to can leftover soups and chili and have those on hand for easy meals. And so we'll see what we get to, but it's really nice to just have a space to store all the empty jars. I've also heard of people using their empty jars to store water in, which isn't a bad idea, just to have that extra just in case water source. This pantry area is also where we keep the bulk of our just dried food. So up in our kitchen, we actually only have a really small area for our pantry. It's just a lower cabinet area. And in there I have our essentials, what we need kind of for the day-to-day. Things like our little jars of spices. And actually what I do is I just take a quart-sized mason jar and I'll fill it with a lot of the things that I have in here. So our rice and beans and, you know, cocoa powder, sucanat, and so I have kind of what I need up there for just the day-to-day, but then every time I run out, I need to come down here and fill it up. So instead of needing to come down here constantly, I'm only needing to come down to stock up maybe once a week or once every other week to get the things that I need to refill for a kind of day-to-day pantry upstairs. The other food that we grow and store away that provides kind of the bulk of our food, things like potatoes, sweet potatoes, winter squash, garlic, those we store in bins kind of in the main area of our basement. There wouldn't be enough room to store all of that in here, but we store them on large, heavy-duty storage shelves. And we haven't done the bulk of that harvesting yet. That's going to be coming in the next couple weeks. So we'll share more about kind of the nitty-gritty of harvesting and storing away all of that food soon. Everything else is stored away in extra fridges and freezers. So we were actually handed down a couple fridge freezers several years ago, and those work perfectly to store things that need to be at just a little bit of a cooler temperatures. Things like cabbage and apples, we store carrots in there, and that works perfectly for that. Then we have 5 different freezers of varying sizes that we use to store all of the meat that we raise here on our homestead, so the whole chickens and the beef, as well as the produce that we preserve for the freezer, like pesto, sweet corn, rhubarb, berries, peaches. That all gets stored away in these freezers and still leaves us with some room to store things like the things that we got on our stock up trip here today, right? That case of cheese and the salmon and all of those things. There's room to store there, as well as even making some freezer meals for when baby comes. And so having those freezers is a huge blessing to be able to put away all that food that we can then pull out as needed in the months ahead. And with the freezers, a question that we get all the time is, doesn't that make your electric bill run really high running all of those freezers? And honestly, it really hasn't been bad. I'm sure it's a few dollars more each month, but it hasn't been anything astronomical. But because they are closed almost all the time, they run really efficiently, and it really hasn't been bad. And whatever the couple dollars a month cost is well worth it for us to have that food stored away that we can pull out as we need it. And while this may seem kind of extreme to only go to the store every 3 months or so, it's actually been surprising how freeing it's been. So instead of planning meals and then going to the store to get the things that I need, I kind of do it in reverse, where I'm seeing what we have and then planning meals around that. And I actually have a list of like 20 to 30 meals that are kind of staple meals for us, things that we pretty much always have the ingredients on hand for. So if I'm ever feeling like I need some inspiration as to what we should make, I reference that list, and it always gives me ideas of how we can use the different things that we have to get a simple meal on the table for our family. For us, it started with going 2 to 3 weeks between trips to the grocery store to try to stretch our food dollars and use what we have, to now here we are. And it's not in this set in stone, have to do it like this sort of way, but more in a, this is just what works really well for our family. Our storage methods are basic, our meals are simple, but every night we go to bed feeling well fed and nourished.
Mommy, did you get prunes?
Yes, buddy. I did.
You did not.
Prunes. I got prunes.